What's up, Ranger Nation? It's your boy Jerome, and I am here today with the review for Power Rangers Beast Morphers. This is episode number 5, and it is titled Taking Care of Business. So you guys, without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop right into the video. All right, you guys. So I want to first start by saying, man, I am so enjoying Power Rangers Beast Morphers. So far at episode 5, even though we've had some filler episodes, overall, Beast Morphers is giving me the vibe of Power Rangers Dino Charge the first season of Dino Charge, where it started off strong and it really was good, but then when we got to Dino Supercharge, it kind of went downhill. I'm hoping that's not the case for the second half of Beast Morphers, but so far so good. The one thing that I can say about Beast Morphers that I love more than the past, how many years were we under the Neo Saban era? However many years we were under there. The one thing that I do love about it is that they don't start the episode with, how they do that little story, Earth's greatest ninja, or, the one with Keeper, all that stuff. I love how they just go right into the episode and, they don't do that opening, which I really never understood that opening. They are Power Rangers, Dino Supercharge, Power Rangers, Ninja Steel. I hated that. But let's go ahead and get into the episode because I'm already talking too long. So the episode, it opens up, we see Devin, and Devin is meeting Mayor Daniels, and they're at a car wash where Mayor Daniels has a job for Devin at the car wash washing cars. So then Devin tells Mayor Daniels, Dad, I can't really take this job. And he's like, why can't you take this job? And then, Devin starts to talk about how he's, doing this. Basically, we all know Devin's a gamer, so he just tied it into gaming instead of telling him, hey, I'm a Power Ranger, because again, they have to keep their identity secret. So, his dad says, Devin, please just do this for me. And Devin's like, okay, Dad, gotcha, whatever you say. So then we move over to the cyber dimension, and in the cyber dimension, Evox, he wants more Morphex energy. And then Scrozzle tells Evox how he has this idea that, he's talking about some security footage where he can, look at it. I'm like, what is the security footage going to do for you getting some Morphex energy? But okay, if that's what Scrozzle's plan was, let's go with it. But then Blaze comes in and says, you know what? I have an idea. He didn't say what his idea was. And I like the fact that Blaze didn't say what his idea was, as opposed to what Roxy did in last week's episode, when Roxy completely told everybody that she was going to play, Ravi. And hindsight, looking back on it, because I watched a lot of other people's reviews, and I felt the same way. I just didn't share the sentiment in my video that I wish that Roxy last week had not told us what her plan was. Even, so what it would have been was she could have fooled both Ravi and the viewing public and be like, oh, is there still some good in her? Which we obviously know there's no good in her. She's a computerized version of the real Roxy. So, I just wish that, like what Blaze did, Roxy didn't tell her plan to everybody. Like, come on, like, can't keep a secret, I guess. All right, so then we go to Grid Battle Force. And at Grid Battle Force, Devin, he just came in from work. So, they're meeting General Burke. And General Burke happens to be Ben and Betty's father. And then we see Ben and Betty, they come in there and they have this, I think it's called a Doubletronics, which actually look like a dog. And, they've created this Doubletronics is what we're going to call it. I think that's what they kept saying, Doubletronics. And they created him from, leftover parts from Tronics from the battles with the Rangers, which is a good idea, I guess. You take the leftover parts and you see what you can do, and you can kind of get a general idea of what kind of technology Evox is using to use Evox's technology against him. So it makes sense. So kudos to Ben and Betty for that. I'm gonna talk about Ben and Betty for just a brief second. Ben and Betty, they don't annoy me nearly as much as Victor and Monty did, but they kind of give me some Victor and Monty vibes just slightly. When it came to Ben and Betty, I still do like them. I don't dislike Ben and Betty. The thing with Ben and Betty, since they work at Grid Battle Force, and Grid Battle Force kind of reminds me of Space Patrol Delta. Space Patrol Delta, Time Force, Lightspeed Rescue. What else have we had? They even remind me of even could be like Spencer from Operation Overdrive. Operation Overdrive is one of my least favorite seasons, but back to what I was talking about. So Ben and Betty, since Grid Battle Force is kind of similar to SPD, I was hoping that, that Ben and Betty would have a role much similar to what Boom's was. Boom always wanted to be a ranger, but he failed out. He flunked out of training, but he worked with Cat Manx, and he helped Cat Manx with her ideas. So this is what I was kind of hoping for with Ben and Betty. But I mean, we get bits and pieces of it, but not very much. It's still, like I said, it's kind of Victor and Monty-esque, also Bulk and Spike-esque. So, like I said, I don't dislike them, but I don't 100% like them. Like, I maybe, I'm not going to say 50-50 like them. 50, well, actually, yes, we will say that. I 50-50 like them. So 50% of me likes them and 50% of me dislikes them. But overall, they're still good. So with them having a Doubletron, that gives Nate an idea. He's like, you know what? There might be leftover debris from when the Rangers fight with the Gigadrones, and if we can get if we can get some of that leftover the parts from the Gigadrones, maybe we can look at Evox's technology. So General Burke and Commander Shaw tell them go ahead and do it. So then Devin's like, you know what, I got to get back to work, and he's just talking about it. They're like, how long do you have to do this job? And he's like, I have to do this job, because his dad looks at him as a disappointment, so he wants to make his dad proud. And they were like, well, we understand, so we got this. So we see Devin, he goes back to the car wash, and at the car wash he took his communicator off, and that gave me a vibe of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I think this was season 1 when Tommy came in. There were a lot of times when Tommy would take his communicator off, like when he was training, doing his karate, he would take his communicator off and Zordon would call him, and the Rangers would need him, but Tommy was nowhere to be found. And then after he finished training, he would go to his bag. I can't remember that one episode where he went to his bag and he got his communicator, and it was still beeping, and Zordon told him that the Rangers needed him, so he morphed into action. So that gave me that kind of vibe. So let's see, where are we at? So then we see Ravi and Zoe. They are in the city and they are picking up the debris from the Gigadrones. So then we see Mayor Daniels. He goes to the car wash where Devin is, and he offers to take Devin take him to lunch. But Devin's like, you know what, I gotta work. So Mayor Daniels like, okay, cool, I'll help you. And Devin's like, you used to work here? You used to do car wash? He's like, yeah. How do you think I pay for them dates with your mom? So Mayor Daniels worked his way up from the bottom up. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Hey, started from the bottom, now we here. Moving on. All right, so next we see Blaze. Blaze shows up, and he creates a Robotron out of a saw, and the Robotron's name is Slicertron. So then we see Nate. Nate has moved some of his work because he's run out of space at Grid Battle Force, so it looks like he's moved some of his work underground. And then we see somebody walk by with what was a helmet head. So it's kind of safe to assume that is going to be the Silver Ranger, who we can assume will be a robot that will be built by Nate. So then Commander Shaw calls the Rangers, and she tells them, hey, Blaze and a Robotron have materialized in the city. You need to go and intercept it. So then we see Ravi and Zoe. They do go to intercept Blaze and Slicertron. So they morph, and they fight with Blaze and Slicertron. Now Slicertron, he slices some metal, and it falls onto Ravi and it falls onto Zoe. Okay, now here's my thing. I was kind of confused because and I'm gonna talk about why I was confused in just a minute. Because when the monster got the best of them, we see Devin. He comes in, and Devin gets the best of Blaze and Slicertron. So then Blaze and Slicertron return back to the cyber dimension, and they demorph. Now here's what confused me. Now I got how Ravi may have overheated in battle, but how did Zoe run out of energy? Never mind. Makes sense. It makes sense to me with the fighting. How much energy they were using, so that could make her run out of energy, and that can make Ravi overheat. So it makes sense. It definitely, now that I said it out loud, it does make sense to me. So let's see, where are we at? Okay, so then they asked Devin, like, when are you gonna quit? They suggested he quits the job. He's like, I can't quit the job, again, because his dad feels like he's a disappointment to him, and he just wants to make his dad proud of him. So then he gets a call from his boss to come back to work. He's like, okay, boss, I'll be back. So then we also see that Nate is telling the Rangers that, the debris that they have is pretty useless to them, because when the Rangers fight the Gigadrones and they destroy the Gigadrones and the Gigadrones explodes, that kind of negates everything. So the technology, the information in there, it's null and it's void. So they can't really use anything at all when it comes to that. So then we see Devin. He's back at the car wash. He's working. And then we see Ravi and Zoe. They go to help him do his job. But I thought that was cool. They might not agree with what he's doing, but they understand why he's doing it. And then, hey, let's help you out. Like, you are our friend. We're going to do what we can for you. So then in the cyber dimension, we see Roxy, we see Blaze, and we see Scrozzle and Slicertron. And they're looking at the Rangers, and they notice that the Rangers wrist comms, we're going to call them communicators, they are, sitting out in the open for anybody to see. So then we see Blaze and Slicertron. They go back to our dimension, and they destroy them. So then we see Commander Shaw pulls up at the car wash. She's like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, we're helping Devin out. She's like, why you help him out? Blaze and Slicertron have, taken some Morphex energy from a tower. Where are your communicators? And then they notice they are right there on the ground, destroyed. And then, Commander Shaw gets a call from Grid Battle Force, and she tells him, hey, send the Rangers some more communicators. And I'm like, you go, Commander Shaw, being a badass. Love Commander Shaw. Like, that's my girl. So then we see Devin telling his boss, I gotta leave. He's like, let me guess, because it's an emergency. And he says yes. He's like, well, if you leave, you're fired. And guess what? Your dad will find out as well. And Devin's like, crap, man. Like, I can't do nothing right in my daddy's eyes. I really do feel bad for Devin. Like, I wish Devin could tell his dad that he is a Power Ranger. Like, I really do wish he could do that. But we know that they have to keep their identity secret, like Zordon said. Okay, so then next we see the Rangers. They have found Blaze and Slicertron, and they're fighting him. So then we see Mayor Daniels. Mayor Daniels is in his car and just cruising down the street. And, some debris just start falling in front of him, and he gets out of his car. So once he gets out the car, there is a little girl that comes around the corner, and I'm like, where did she come from? And then we see one of Slicertron's saws goes right toward her face, but then we see Devin, he uses his cheetah energy, and he intercepts and saves the little girl. So while he does that, we also notice that Mayor Daniels is watching Devin in battle. And, so then Blaze leaving Slicertron there. He's like, Slicertron's like, hey, man, like, you just gonna dip out on me? Like, way to be a team player, my dude. So then he goes back to the cyber dimension. He tells Scrozzle, create a Gigadrome. So, he creates a Gigadrome. And then Commander Shaw calls and tells them that, hey, there is a Gigadrome that is heading toward, one of the towers to drain some energy. So Devin is like, send my Zord. So they do send the Racer Zord in to help. And then we see Zoe and Ravi, and they're fighting a monster. Now, I must say, I love the way that they incorporate the Sentai footage with our show. It doesn't, come off like just cut and paste like we have saw with, oh God. It's not cut and paste like with, I hate to say it, but Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was cut and paste. But the worst cut and paste for me has been Power Rangers Samurai. I think that was the worst cut and paste ever. And even Megaforce and Super Megaforce was so horrible with the copy and pasting. God. So, I love the way that they incorporate the Sentai footage with our actual footage. It flows well and it meshes well, and it doesn't, it's not easy to, you can tell, but it's not that easy to tell that it is, Sentai footage mixed with, American footage. So I do love that about them. Okay, so then the Gigadrome, while Devin is trying to stop it from getting to the tower, It crashes Devon's systems. So then back at Grid Battle Force, we see Commander Shaw. She's talking to Jax and she's talking to Smash, and she's telling them that, hey, I need you guys to go pilot the other two Zords. And they're like, we pilot them? And she's like, yeah. So then we see them, and they jump into action, but they start blasting at the Gigadrone, and the Gigadrone has up a force field that the Rangers, not the Rangers, but the Zords can't penetrate. So then we see Ravi and we see Zoe. They're down there. They're still battling with the the Robotron, Slicertron, but they do end up eventually destroying him. So then Devon, he's talking to Nate, and he's like, you did say that if the Gigadrone explodes, that information is not good. He says, correct. So Devon says, you know what, I have a good idea. So then we see Devon, he disables the Gigadrone without actually destroying it and it exploding. So then the Rangers take it back to the hangar, and Nate is like really, really excited, like a kid on Christmas morning. Like, how when you wake up and you're like, oh my God, what did Santa Claus leave for me? So, that's how Nate was with the Gigadrone, almost like a kid at their birthday. Like, what kind of present did you buy me? Did you buy me a toy? What toy did you buy me? Like, that's how Nate was. So then we see Ben and Betty, and they have some technology that they're using. I like Ben and Betty, but the antics, sometimes it doesn't register with me. And I know this is a kids show, and they're trying to appease the kids as well. But they have a Gigadrone hand, and it closes a fist with Betty in it. I'm like, okay, but okay, we're gonna move on. All right, so lastly in the episode, we see Devon. He's calling his dad, and his dad, talking to his dad about, I heard that you were, around where the Rangers were fighting. And his dad was like, yeah. And then, his dad is talking to him about him losing a job. And Mayor Daniels, I think Mayor Daniels, his approach, I get where he's coming from. He wants better for his son, but it's the way he does it. Like, it makes Devon feel like he's a disappointment. He's a disgrace to his dad. And I think if his dad just says, Devon, I know you want to do X, Y, Z, but if you do things my way, maybe they'll work out better for you. But, then we see Mayor Daniels. He's on television. He's talking about the Power Rangers. And he's just basically, praising the Power Rangers, how, although their identities are secrets, the city of Coral Harbor is thankful for them, and so is he. And then Zoe and Ravi are like, see, your dad is proud of you. Although he doesn't know he's proud of you, he really is. So you guys, that was the episode. So I would rate this episode I would give it an 8 out of 10. Because it was a really good episode to me. But like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys later. Probably will be Monday for a new episode of Kishu Ryu Sentai Ryu Soldier. So until then, you guys, see you later.